What is important is that we're able to do this incrementally and that we're able to give hope to some of these young people.
300,000 Nigerian youths for empowerment in federal government Empower program.
Always be guided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
19 new judges of the National Industrial Court take oath of office in Abuja.
I do not know where that information is coming from, so my responses are very definitive.
Minister of State Petroleum Resources denies planned concession of Port Harcourt refinery to foreign companies. A very good evening to you and thanks for joining us on Network News tonight. I am Isaac Nkuma, reaching you from our Abuja Network studios. And in Lagos, Jennifer will be our guide when it's time. Hello Jennifer, it's good to see you.
And a warm welcome to the news.
Thank you. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Dr. May Kanti Baru, has reaffirmed commitment of the corporation to sustain availability of petroleum products across the country. He was speaking at the annual general meeting of NNPC downstream subsidiaries in Abuja. He said the federal government and the NNPC have adopted strategies to engage host communities to stem incidents of pipeline infraction, and it's now yielding positive results.
Command, Rear Admiral Adedipe, who officially handed over the documents containing the items and the number of crew members arrested to EFCC and NSCDC in One and Bonny Anchorage, said Nigerians will continue to see more of the arrest of oil saboteurs until the illicit act is nipped in the bud.
The signature of the product does not fit into what the NNPC has. That means those products are illegally refined products.
We are assuring Nigerians and Nigeria as a whole that we will follow the trail, we will follow the money, and we will take justice to them.
Carry on with further investigation and then prosecution of the suspect handed over to us and the exhibits.
As at the time of this report, EFCC and NSCDC have taken over the recovered items. From Bonny in Rivers State, Vivian Izadefi, NTA News.
Oh, sorry for that mix-up. An additional 300,000 Nigerian youths are to be empowered this year in the federal government Empower program. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo, while inspecting the information center of the program, says government is impressed with the achievements so far, but can always do more. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
The Empower program is an open door of opportunities for young Nigerians ages 18 to 35 to contribute to national development.
For me, I think that what is important is that we're able to do this incrementally and that we're able to give hope to some of these young people who need the opportunity. We're never going to be, we'll never always be able to do everything, but I think that it's important that we do as much as we can. If we could, I mean, the target was 500,000 employees, that's the target. But depending on our resources, we can always do more.
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo is here visiting the information center, specially established for the program, to attend to complaints of volunteers on the field and for guiding new applicants.
Really, what I want to say to the young people who are working on this is that if we take the opportunity, I mean, for instance, if you look at the tablet contains so much information, so much learning material, that any young graduate who has these tablets, who's working on the Empower, can really develop his skills in a wide variety of ways and then be able to give himself, greater opportunities. And, so I think it's much more than an employment program. It's a learning program, it's a skills development program.
An average of 3,766 calls are received here per day.
So this is basically the backroom operations of all that you know and hear about Empower across Nigeria and across the globe. This really is what we call the Empower Command Center.
My major work here is to attend to callers on Empower, both beneficiaries, that means the people that are already on the program, and the new applicants, people that are just coming in to the program.
Corporate organizations should just take up it's a challenge, take up the gauntlet, face it, assist the government to ensure that it's a problem for everybody. It's not just government problem alone.
On the wall here are testimonies of beneficiaries of the first phase of the Empower program. For example, here I have Christopher Osem, who is saying here that Empower is actually God's plan to salvage Nigerian graduates from gross unemployment, and goes further to say, have learned roots of entrepreneurship. Long live Empower, long live President Muhammadu Buhari, and that says it all. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And going back to our earlier reports, the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Dr. May Kanti Baru, has reaffirmed commitment of the corporation to sustain availability of petroleum products across the country. He was speaking at the annual general meeting of NNPC downstream subsidiaries in Abuja. He said the federal government and the NNPC have adopted strategies to engage host communities to stem incidents of pipeline infraction, and it is now yielding positive results.
The efforts we're doing in that is to ensure commercialization of the activities of the defunct PPMC. And these vehicles have already started working very well. We do things transparently and also with integrity. So we're on course.
The GMD noted that such intervention of the NNPC led to a 42% fall in the price of diesel and has continued to sustain the downward trend across the country. A former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, is urging Nigerian engineers to prove their competence by being professional and efficient in handling the country's infrastructure. Obasanjo was speaking at the Nigerian Society of Engineers 2017 lecture on infrastructural development. Chimdimma Ndubisi reports.
Over the years, reports of collapsing infrastructure have been recurring decimals in Nigeria. This is attributed to non-adherence to standard and professional input. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, an engineer, used the opportunity of being honored by the Nigerian Society of Engineers to remind them of the responsibility of checkmating the trend and their roles in nation building.
You build a house and the house collapses. It's not one man who will die, one person. It's not one person who will go to prison. So we have to be extremely careful.
The society recalled how President Obasanjo's sectoral reforms engineered revolutionary growth and development in telecommunications, agriculture, industrialization, as well as education that led to emergence of more science and technology institutions.
President Obasanjo initiated the National Integrated Power Project, NIPP, in 2005 and directed by policy that Nigerian engineering firms must get at least 25% of each project scope. That was how, out of about 120 engineering firms that participated in NIPP, 83 of them were Nigerian firms.
All this, the society said, stands out the former president as an engineer and educationist. In Abuja, Chimdimma Ndubisi, NTA News.
Allottees of undeveloped plots in FCT's fish farm estate in Buhari may have their allocations revoked if they fail to develop their farm plots within the next 2 months. FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello gave the warning during an unscheduled visit to the area exclusively reserved for fish farming. Mitaire Ikben reports.
The FCT Fish Farm Estate in Buhari is an area of 10 hectares of land divided into 100 plots. Conceived in 2012 by the FCT administration, it was allotted to prospective fish farmers who were meant to establish large ponds that will contribute to national fish production and generate employment. 5 years after, the FCT minister is disappointed that only 2 allottees are engaged in fish production in the area.
So if there is no road, you won't go to your farm. It is the farmer that creates the road by going and go forward and backwards to his farm. So all those people who have plot in this place, madam, I want within 2 months everybody to come and put his fish pond, or else we revoke.
The eventual development of the Buhari Fish Farm Estate is expected to bridge the current gap between the demand and supply of fish in the territory. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And moving on to judiciary now, officers of the Temple of Justice have been urged to preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in adjudicating over matters before them. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogen, made the plea while administering oath of office on 19 new judges of the National Industrial Court in Abuja. Dela Tumbi reports.
Justice Walter Onogen, who described the law as an axe, admonished the new judges to administer it in the interest of society. The Chief Justice of Nigeria told the new benches to be guided by the Constitution as the ground norm in dispensing justice. While welcoming them into the judiciary, Justice Onogen told the judges to be free in tapping from the experiences of their seniors on the bench, as well as adhering strictly to the judicial precedents.
Always be guided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the law, and your own conscience.
Some legal practitioners spoke on the expectations of litigants from the benches.
Have to put on their best and to ensure that the integrity of the judiciary is highly maintained.
What the litigants will expect from these new judges will be to dispense justice according to law, without fear or favor.
Observers say the new judges will assist in ensuring quick dispensation of justice in the industrial court. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
The National Assembly has stated that the Nigerian police force is overstressed in all ramifications as it has 300,000 officers and men manning 180 million people. This ratio, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, says is below the United Nations recommendation of 1 to 400 people population ratio. This was at a one-day public hearing on a bill for an act to amend the Explosive Act of 1964. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Izumba reports.
Nigerian 1999 Constitution, as amended, emphasizes that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary occupation of government. The Nigerian police has a fundamental role of protecting lives and property of the citizens. In discharging that responsibility, the Nigerian police has over the years been coping with challenges. Inadequate funding, inadequate facilities and limited number of personnel are some of those major challenges. The Speaker, in a message delivered by the Minority Leader, said, until the Police Reform Trust Fund Bill is passed, every attempt towards stopping corruption within the force will be difficult.
The annual budgetary provision for the Nigerian police has not been adequate to cater for the need of the force, considering the rise in the act of terrorism, kidnapping, and menace of herdsmen and other violence crimes.
Consequently, it is important for the National Assembly to pay attention to this, to the viability and accessibility of the issues of operating the fund for 6 years and source of funding.
The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, said the urge for the economic development of Nigeria is only possible if the security challenges are resolved.
Close nexus between security and development. Police is an agency for internal security all over the world.
Other contributions from stakeholders on the importance of the bill.
This is the best time for this. If we don't fund our police force, it will go down.
They need funds for their training and retraining.
Traditional institutions were also invited. The bill, if passed into law, participants say it will provide the much needed equipment to improve on police welfare and efficiency in the discharge of their constitutional function from the National Assembly. Ifeanyi Izumba, NTA News.
The Buhari Media Support Group has taken on the governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Ayodele Fayose, challenging him to produce pictures of the president he claims are in his possession in the next 24 hours, or forever remain silent and refrain from his shameful lies and cheap blackmail, which they say is unbecoming of a person that holds the high office of a governor. The group, in a press statement, said the governor has become an agent of confusion and deception over the health of President Muhammadu Buhari. The group asserts that the president is fast recuperating, as the acting president had assured that he would be back in the country to continue his acknowledged devotion to the betterment of Nigeria and Nigerians. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device or at the Google Play Store if you use devices with iOS. A time now to take a short break. NTA Network News continues in a moment. Stay with us.
So tell somebody to tell everybody to come join Timaya, baby.
I did bring too much sauce. Glow Mega Music Talk.
It's gonna be a mad over your 10.
You're ready to win a show stoppers.
I'm your host for the biggest show ever.
If you miss the store, you're gonna miss everything. So join me, guys. Let's turn up.
We'll be storming across Nigeria. I won't be anywhere else.
Everyone who is anyone is going to be there. All Nigeria's A-list musicians.
One big stage.
Live and direct.
Glow Mega Music Tour all over Nigeria.
So watch out, because we dey come.
Let's go!
It's the Glow Mega Music Tour with your favorite anchors and special guest stars. It's gonna be untamed. Text music and your preferred location to 207. Use 2,000 Naira Glow airtime in 1 month to stand in line for your free ticket. So what are you waiting for? The Glow Mega Music Tour.
Glow Unlimited. This is phase 1 of the Legacy Gardens, renamed in honor of late Borno Deputy Governor Zana Umar Mustafa. Built with very modern interior, the estate is situated along the airport road in Maiduguri. Along with its ongoing phase 2, the project is designed to provide 300 units of 3-bedroom apartments to increase access to housing, particularly for workers in critical public services.
Legacy before is the place where our bad people are gathering. The coming of this governor of Borno State, Kashim Shatima, he really make it the place look beautiful.
Hey, now who they here? My name now Mr. Shortcut. I dey mind my money. Now cheap one I dey buy. Standard, we sign. Now to buy cheap one. Hey, now one kind cable for my yard. A cheap building material where we take build my office. I think say I dey save money. Office building collapse and fire burn my house.
You don't see what happened to Mr. Shortcut? Well, Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, don't ready for action and say enough of pain, loss and wastage. And if you see product where no dey correct, call the SON office when near you or SON help desk. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
Good governance is when the life of the governed changes for the better. When there is improvement in healthcare, in education, transportation, economic empowerment, and the security of life and property. When the people have an array of infrastructure, services, and institutions that help them realize their potentials. Good governance is ingenious, honest, interdependent, and result-driven. Good governance is what Ibrahim Gaidam has made true in Yobe State through his pragmatic and persistent leadership. It is what is helping Yobe move forward despite years of being held back by Boko Haram terrorism. Ibrahim Gaidam, governance humanized. Yobe, truly the pride of the Sahel.
The House of Representatives Committee on Climate Change calls for all submissions of memoranda and invites stakeholders to a one-day public hearing on the proposed bill for an act to provide a framework for the mainstreaming of climate change responses and actions into government policy formulation and implementation on the establishment of the National Council on Climate Change and other related purposes. Date, Thursday, 20th July. Venue, Conference Room 028, House of Representatives. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. All memoranda should be submitted submitted on or before the 18th of July in 30 copies and a soft copy attached, forwarded to the clerk in room 309, White House, House of Representatives, National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Honorable Sam I. Onuigbo, Chairman, House Committee on Climate Change. Announcer.
The Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola-San, invites all Federal Directors of Works, State Commissioners, Permanent Secretaries of Works, professionals and stakeholders in the road sector to the 23rd meeting of the National Council on Works. Theme: adequate traffic signage, an essential key for highways infrastructure, safety and comfort.
Special guest of honor, the Honorable Minister, Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Musa Bello.
Date: Monday 17th to Friday 21st July 2017. Venue: NAF Conference Center, Amadou Bello Way, opposite next Cash and Carry Shopping Mall, Kado District, Abuja. Time: 9 a.m. daily. Announcer: Mohammed Bukar, Permanent Secretary.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant. To achieve our creed as we promise, we shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thanks for staying with us. The menace of kidnapping in parts of the country can be curtailed with the continued support of Nigerians through the provision of vital information on suspicious elements to security agencies. The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, stated this when he addressed some community leaders and other stakeholders at the area command of the Nigerian Police Force, Suleja, headquarters of Suleja Local Government Area of Niger State. Mohammed Dauda reports.
The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, is on an assessment of the security situation around the country with a view to finding lasting solutions to the activities of kidnappers and other criminal elements described as detrimental to the peace and security of the nation. Addressing stakeholders in Suleja Local Government Area of Niger State, the Inspector General of Police noted that the menace of kidnapping cannot be halted without the cooperation of members of the community who are in a better position of knowing the bad elements in their midst, and he reiterated the police determination in working closely with the public and other security agencies in eradicating kidnapping and other related crimes in the society, while assuring informants of the police adequate protection.
These measures we are taking to encourage, give confidence to people that the police officers we have now are trusted officers, people with integrity.
The Inspector General of Police was earlier at the palace of the Emir of Suleja, Malam Muhammad Awal Ibrahim, to commiserate with the emirate over the recent flood in Suleja that claimed some lives. Dawda Mohammed, NTA News.
The acting secretary to the government of the Federation, Hajia Habibat Lawal, has reiterated the present administration's commitment to live up to its obligations at the Committee of Nations. She stated this during the inauguration of Inter-Ministerial Committee to prepare Nigeria's Third Circle Universal Periodic Review to United Nations Human Rights Council. Musa Abubakar reports.
The periodic review of the United Nations emerged from the 2005 UN reform process with the objective to review and improve human rights situation in member states. As a signatory to the resolution, Nigeria has made significant progress and achievement in the implementation of recommendations accepted in the second review cycle. With a third review cycle slated for June 2018, an interministerial committee is set up to prepare and submit to the federal government a draft report of the human rights situation in the country in accordance with UN Human Rights Council guidelines.
You are therefore individually and collectively urged to give this national assignment the seriousness it deserves.
I want to pledge on behalf of other
members of this committee to carry out this assignment with all sense of responsibility.
Terms of reference of the committee includes to plan and coordinate the processes necessary for the preparation of the UPR country report, including the engagement of consultants to work on the draft report. Members of the committee were drawn from government ministries, departments and agencies, as well as civil society organizations. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Made in Nigerian products are enjoying global patronage due to their exceptional quality. Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Rosewe, stated this during a visit to the Nigerian Television Authority. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji reports.
The visit, Otumba Olusegun says, is to further promote peaceful coexistence in the country as championed by both organizations. He urged the NTA to continue showcasing Nigeria's rich culture and abundant human capital resources.
Your iPad, you don't need to report back for iPad any longer. You do them with Ankara and with That's it. Your iPad, neat. And I'm the first to tell you, a Chinese company have ordered for 2 million pieces. You know why? Because if you take leather, it breaks when it's cold. But this Ankara, you just wash it. That's why we put our logo.
But our culture remains with us. The minister is very passionate about, what culture can do for this country. He's very passionate about, turning Nigeria into a cultural heaven. I want to assure you, we'll give you all the needed support.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Television Authority has expressed commitment to advanced technology acquisition. Director General of the NTA, represented by the Executive Director Engineering, Stephen Moses Okpanachi, said this when he received the Committee of Deans of Engineering and Technology of Nigerian Universities.
We believe we have a lot of engineers who have acquired a lot of experience in NTA that will be relevant to when you want to teach courses like digital telecommunication, communication, conversion technique. It will be of interest. The engineers here now will not look at the theoretical aspect. They will look at the practical and the practice.
The onus is now on us to come out with what we can do to improve what is happening in NTA.
Professor Oihi Oloshe also wants the Executive Director Engineering of the NTA to be among the judges at the second edition of the National Engineering Competition, slated for next month. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
The Northern Elders Forum has elected Paul Onongo as its new convener. Alhaji Sani Zango Daura, Damasani Daura, is the new deputy convener, while Professor Ango Abdullahi has reaffirmed as the spokesperson of the forum. In a statement, the forum urged the convener and his team to lead in the spirit and character of its demised leader, Damasani Kanu, Alhaji Yusuf Maitamasule, and renews its commitment to working with all groups that are genuinely interested in examining the fundamentals of national unity, but will not relent in protecting the interests of the people of the North. The forum prayed for good health for President Buhari and pledged support and encouragement to acting President Yemi Osinbajo. A time now to join Lagos Network Center, and Jennifer will be our guide. Jennifer, it's over to you.
Thank you, Isaac. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. The amended 1999 Constitution will be ready by the end of 2017, well ahead of the 2019 elections. Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu stated this at a joint working retreat of the Senate and House of Representatives on the review of the 1999 Constitution in Lagos. Annie Daniels has details.
As return to democracy, the 1999 Constitution has not been without complaints. Various groups have agitated for constitutional review to address the perceived flaws identified in the Constitution.
We've had a number of consultations and seminars as well as retreats. The Senate had their own retreats severally to arrive at the document, and also the House also had their own retreat.
The issue of state policing and all that, some states will support it, some may not. And so what we have decided to do is to do the Constitution in phases.
We all knew that the Constitution was a product of the military.
This is why a joint committee of the Senate and House of Representatives have come together to find ways of fine-tuning some of these controversial issues, especially as it concerns local government autonomy.
Land has always been and should remain a residual matter for the state houses of assembly to legislate upon. Hence, the Land Use Act should become land use law of the states.
What we have now is a situation where the third tier of government is like an appendage of, the second tier of government.
Lawmakers were quick to point out that the speedy dispatch of the Constitution depends on two-thirds assentment of those concerned.
If we, during our feedback, we have less than two-thirds, then it has failed. And it's not a personal thing, so we are not going to lobby any person. We are not going to beg anyone to accept.
The proposal upon completion will be presented to the State Houses of Assembly for ratification. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Taxation experts have identified tax remittance as panacea for infrastructural deficit. Meanwhile, the development of micro, small and medium enterprises have been acknowledged as engine room for the socio-economic transformation of Nigeria. These and more on our business news segment with Ademola Adeoye.
For joining us on Business News segment, I am Ademola Adeoye. In order to cushion the nation's economic challenges and reduce infrastructural deficit, experts say tax remains a viable source of revenue generation for government.
Tax revenue is one of the key elements of the government revenue. So the higher the tax revenue, the easier it is for the government to meet its expenditure commitments, as well as reduce the amount of borrowing that the government is currently engaging in.
With the nation's growing population put at about 170 million and its diversification drive from a mono economy to the development of micro, small and medium enterprises, stakeholders say the development of SMEs will improve the country's per capita income as well as boost export earnings and step up capacity utilization in industries.
Like in the past, we know there were clusters that were created for small, medium and industries. There were also institutions that were established for training of manpower. Some of them are moribund now.
Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun says the country will continue to borrow to finance the nation's deficit. She said the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan provides for an increase in spending over a 3-year period, which is reflected in the 2017 budget. The 7.44 trillion naira budget with a projected fiscal deficit of 2.356 trillion naira, she said, will be funded by a combination of domestic and foreign loan. The Central Bank of Nigeria has warned Nigerians to desist from investing in unwholesome financial engagements and Ponzi schemes. The Apex Bank revealed that investors lost the sum of 11.9 billion naira to Ponzi schemes in 2016. Let's now take a quick look at transactions on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
At the close of Friday's equities, volume of shares traded finished at 186.4 billion shares, valued at 2.35 billion naira, which swapped hands at 1,561.00 deals. Market capitalization closed at 11.45 trillion naira, while the all-share index stood at 33,235.84 points. Better Glass, with 2 naira 6 kobo gain, led the gainers table to close at 52 naira 17 kobo per share, followed by Fort Oil, which appreciated by 2 naira 47 kobo to close at 53 naira 5 kobo per share. O&O with 8 kobo loss led the losers table, closely followed by Guarantee, which depreciated by 69 kobo to close at 36 naira 9 kobo per share.
And Stock Market Report concludes our business news segment tonight. News at Night continues shortly. Stay with us.
Thank you, Demola. You're still watching NTA Network News. We'll take a break now for some messages. The news will continue shortly with Isaac in Abuja, so stay with us.
Hi, Tracy. What's my flight number? Tracy, do you have a phone I can use? This is so old school.
Try this.
There's no network on here.
What about this one?
Seriously? Does anybody have 4G here?
Hello, madam.
Hi.
There you go.
Thank you. Wow, it's ultra fast.
Of course, it's Glow 4G LTE turbocharged.
And you are super fly.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. Bye.
Glow 4G LTE.
I need to sit next to him on the flight.
These data plans are available to all new customers and existing customers who renew their plans. Dial *777#. Welcome to the new speed of life.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
I can see a lot of signals here. Are you Vuz Almighty? Okay. Are you Mr. Lover? No. Okay. Are you Mega Connect? Okay. Are you click and die?
The Smartphone Network.
The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, in line with the federal government policy of ensuring peaceful coexistence, ethnic and religious harmony amongst her citizens, cordially invite stakeholders in the broadcast industry to a one-day national summit on broadcast content development and peaceful coexistence. Keynote speaker, veteran broadcaster, Dr. Tony Iradia, discussant, distinguished experts in broadcast content production, programming, funding, education and national security. Venue, Silk Hotel and Suites, Rayfield, Jos Plateau State. Date, 18th July 2017. Time, 9 a.m. prompt. Host, Ishak Modibukau, Director General NBC. Chairman of the summit, Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris. Chief Host, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting. Management Announcer.
And make una plan well.
Know the facts. Modern family planning methods are safe and effective. You and your partner can plan when to have a child.
Talk to your partner. Let them know you support using a modern family planning method.
Go! Get a modern family planning method today. There's a method that is right for you and your partner.
Know, talk, go. Get it together. Get it together for a brighter future.
This Get It Together campaign is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health.
I'm glad you stayed. Muslim faithful have been advised not to constitute mischief on earth and always help to protect the environment for healthy living and against calamities. Imam of the Apo Legislative Quarters Mosque, Sheikh Mohammed Nur Khalid, in his Jumat sermon, cautioned worshippers against incidents of destruction of lives and property by flood. Abdullahi Ajia has more.
Following recent developments of flooding that affected lives and property across the country, the Imam in his sermon draws the attention of Muslims that they have a responsibility to help protect the environment in their day-to-day activities.
Centered on spiritual and social obligations upon every Muslim as citizen, Imam Muhammad Nur Khalid stressed that man must retrace his steps to the righteous path of Allah, which he said implies obedience to the creator and laws of society. He said the environment is a gift that should be nurtured in the best form.
Mischief
everywhere because of what man causes. So this is an indicator showing that any misfortune, any calamity you see on this earth, it was perpetrated by man. So therefore, we the Muslims supposed to take the positive side by promoting good and denouncing evil.
The cleric observed that man by his nature has often endangered the environment that is home to all creatures. While calling for attitudinal change, he admonished,
we must become environment friendly by not destroying trees, not blocking waterway.
Issues that constitute challenges to individuals and the nation were committed to prayers for Allah's intervention. In Abuja, Abdullahi Hajia, NTA News.
Oni of Ife, Obaye Nitoadeye Ogunwusi, and the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, have stressed that what unites Nigerians are greater than what divides them. They made this observation in Ile-Ife at the donation of 50 million naira to victims of the March 8 Ife crisis. Rotimi Akamo completes the report.
Beneficiaries who are victims of the crisis that occurred in Ile-Ife early this year were full of appreciations as Dangote Foundation came to their rescue.
Today I'm happy because I need this thing before, and I thank to Dangote.
It's very good. It's wonderful. The donation worth 50 million naira was presented to the victims by the managing director of Dangote Foundation, Suera Yuzu, who reiterated the commitment of the Dangote Foundation to liberate the have-nots in the society, described the donation as a symbol of unity.
What we want for them, what Alhaji Aliko wants for them, is to go back to work, is to continue living in harmony with their brothers and sisters, and to rebuild their businesses.
The Emir of Kano and the Oni of Ife appealed to other wealthy Nigerians to use their wealth to alleviate the sufferings of the people in the society.
Alhaji Aliko, the president of Dangote Group, for the manner in which he responds to humanitarian crisis.
Thanks to the president of Dangote Group is touching each and everybody's life.
The beneficiaries are encouraged to use the money judiciously. From the palace of the Oni of Ife, Rotimi Akamo, NTA News.
An Osun State High Court has granted bail to former acting Vice-Chancellor of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Professor Anthony Elujoba, on self-recognition. Olabode Arewa has an update.
The former Vice-Chancellor of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Anthony Elujoba, continued this Friday with the court hearing the matter, relocated to Osogbo for security reasons. Heavily armed security agents barricaded entry points to the court area. The ruling was greeted with shouts of Elujoba is our man and Pope Omole from the investor community. Justice David Oladimeji, in his ruling, lambasted the investor community for the public disorder caused during last court sitting. Justice Oladimeji therefore granted the second accused, Mrs. Ronke Josephine Akeredolu, 50 million naira bail and 2 shorties. One of the shorties must be a high-ranking academic officer of the university, while EFCC counsel Festus Ojo declined comments. Defendants counsel Ibrahim Lawal applauded the court ruling.
The acting vice-chancellor, Professor Elujoba, was granted bail on self-recognizance. He was, which means that he was given an opportunity to walk away from the court without any surety because of his standing in the society.
The case has been adjourned to October 27, 2017. In Osogbo, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
It is said that persons living with disabilities do not need sympathy and pity because they cannot survive comfortably on sympathy and pity. But for that of visually impaired, better opportunities and enabling environment are required to tap their potential and enable them contribute to national development. Some blind children in Abuja got these desires fulfilled when the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association presented learning materials to them. Momso Damian Data reports.
Research indicates that over 4.25 million people in Nigeria are visually impaired or blind. Imagine the challenges they undergo on a daily basis ranging from stigmatization and segregation to difficulty in physical movement. Others are limitation to employment opportunities and then low self-esteem. It is believed that there is an ability in every disability, and so it is said that the blind only need improved opportunities and qualitative education. This is what gave inspiration to the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA, to extend a hand of charity to the School of the Blind Abuja as they mark DEPOA Week.
DEPOA is committed to giving a helping hand to the needy so as to restore hope and, of course, provide resources that will help in sustaining them and improving their life.
Their gratitude and joy in receiving learning apparatus and assorted food items was expressed this way. In Abuja, Momsode Mendati, NTA News.
Another break beckons now. When we return, a 7th member of the House of Representatives passes on.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped, we are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive. Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC as an agency is indeed doing so much to protect the health of our nation. I urge everyone to support NAFDAC in ridding the country of fake drugs and unwholesome products.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Thanks for staying with us. Up next is news across the globe, and Begoli Ugoke will be our guide.
On this segment, we'll begin with Rwanda's politics. A 19-day presidential campaign kicked off Friday with 3 candidates vying for the top job. President Kagame, who has ruled the country since 2000, is seeking another 7-year term, and President Donald Trump joined his France counterpart to mark the Bastille Day celebration in Paris, where U.S. and French troops are marching together. The parade also marks 10 years since Americans entered World War I. However, he left Paris after the Bastille celebration. In a latest development, 2 Israeli police officers have been killed in a shooting in Jerusalem's Old City outside one of the world's religious sites. Israeli police spokesman Mickey Rosenfield said 3 armed assailants, whom he identified as terrorists, targeted police units in the area. Meanwhile, the death toll from heavy rain and flooding in southern Japan has risen to 15. Officials said rescue workers have reached isolated villages where at least 14 others are missing and feared dead. Heavy rains warnings are still in place for parts of southern islands days after Typhoon Namadas swept across Japan. And China has rejected international criticism for not allowing its most prominent critic, Liu Xiaobo, to be treated abroad for liver cancer. The Nobel Committee, which gave him the Peace Prize in 2010, said China bore a heavy responsibility for his death. Beijing has been urged to free his wife, Pue Liuxia, from house arrest. Thanks for your time. The news continues.
Many thanks, Obiageli. The dwindling state of our sports in recent times has continued to occupy the front burner amongst stakeholders. This was the focus during NTA Thursday night sports talk show, The Sports Parliament. Adeola Omokive has the details.